Oh! Hi! Hi! Welcome to a world where everything is possible. Where to begin? That's a good question indeed. Maybe we should actually begin with a short explanation as for what this is. Welcome to Roll 4, as far as I planned it.
Which might not be a lot, let's be honest.
This will be a short format series where I put two of my stranger talents to good use. Number 1, ridiculous role-playing. Number 2, intense rule lawyering. Better said, I try and help people to understand what roleplay games are and how they work. Now, fair warning before we begin. Although there will be a lot of lessons about role-playing in general and that can be applied to everything, my main game and my main system is Pathfinder. It's what I know most about and it's my main reference point. Now, this will maybe change some point in my future when me and my party go over to D&D or maybe start playing Shadowrun or anything else, and I gladly answer any question about any of those systems, but Pathfinder is my main fallback. Just so you know. Peace. Now, how about we actually begin? Let's set a scene. There you are, sitting in your room, with all your friends around the table. You've heard tales of these epic legends, told by innkeepers and bards. Stories about gnomes fighting off trolls, humans slaying evil wizards, parties being TPK'd by a horrible DM. No, wait, not that one. Maybe later. We'll get to that one. You believe you and your band of misfits are destined to roam these fantasy lands, ready to fight ghouls and goblins and ghasts. Or maybe you wield blaster rifles and set out in a steampunk dystopia, taking dangerous jobs, living day by day, and rising up in the ranks to become the most powerful gang in town. So many adventures await you in our world. Now, if that got your attention, then you are ready to roleplay, my friend. Let's start talking about what you need to begin. In its essence, in its innermost core, all you need is one of these. Add to that some of this, or this, and a whole lot of this. Role-playing games are set in the collective imagination of you and your friends all sitting around the table. It's a bit like those stories that you wrote when you were younger in class. Everyone gets to write one line after each other, and you get those crazy stories afterwards. Or something like Billy wrote, Sergeant Commander started striding out in the Battle of War. And Sarah wrote, to walk back to his fairy princess at the end of the line. After which Billy wrote, in his war, written on... I don't know where I'm going with this. Now, just to be sure, for all the mothers, girlfriends, boyfriends, or just friends, or other family that were just suddenly grabbed and forced to watch it. First of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, what is an RPG? It's quite easy actually. When playing role-playing games, we essentially take control of the life of someone that we are not. Think it maybe of a form of improvisation theater. You could be that seductive femme fatale in the last Bond movie you watched, or be that kinda buff stupid guy that really packs a punch in the latest action flick you saw. Or, I don't know, be that annoying old grumpy lady in the library for as far as I care. It's kind of like that movie or video game, and only this time you are the actor. You are the leading role, and you get to choose what they do or don't do. All while safely sitting around the table. Now, seniors are all caught up now. Let's talk about that notepad and those brains, and how that's all you need to roleplay. To make this easier on all of us, I'm going to put up a slight example. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for a second as you go out running throughout your room to find some paper and a pen. You back already? Great. So let's take a little bit of a moment here. Think of the last movie you've seen, or maybe the last book you've read. Think of the leading character in that series. Think of who they are, what they're going through, how they normally act. Yeah? You've got one? Great. Now, picture your character. They've been snatched away by their greatest adversary. As they wake up, they can see a crossroads, a way leading forward, one to the right, one to the left, and one backward. The road forward in front of them seems to be laden with torches and seems to be never ending, just going. The road to the right is a small alcove in which a rope comes down. The road behind them seems to be a stairway going down into the darkness. And the road to the left seems to be leading to a large underground lake with a small boat sit up on the coast. Now picture your character, and what would they do in that situation? And as you know, write it down, there's your pen. And I'll do so too. So, what did you write down? I chose for Harry Dresden. Harry is the protagonist of the Dresden File, a series written by Jim Butcher. So thinking of him and how he would act, I believe that he would charge headlong into darkness to find the big bad evil and try and foil his plan. So I wrote down that he'd go down the stairs. But you know what? This small thing we just did, we totally roleplayed that just now. Yeah, you really did. That was roleplaying. So congratulations, you just roleplayed with nothing but a piece of paper and a pen. Easy as that. Told you we could do it. So, now that we've covered the basics of what you need to roleplay, let's look at some extras that you most probably want to have as you're actually going to start roleplaying with friends. First of all, you're going to want a system, and boy are there a lot of systems. You've got games like Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Dungeon World, Shadowrun, Numenera, Blades in the Dark, Faith, Fantasy Age, GURPS, Savage Worlds, Call of Cthulhu, Rifts, Mutants and Masterminds, Hackmaster, and so much more. But which one do you choose? Well, mostly depends on what you want to play. Do you enjoy medieval fantasy? Slaying down huge magical beasts and gaining glory and eventually becoming akin to a god? Start playing Dungeons & Dragons or maybe Pathfinder. Do you enjoy role-playing over mechanics? Then maybe you want to look at games like Dungeon World or Blades in the Dark or maybe Call of Cthulhu, which are more heavily based in the role-playing aspect and less with mechanics. And maybe you always want to be that cool sci-fi cyborg with those guns as arms and huge cybernetic legs which make you jump for miles at an end. Then you probably want to start looking into games like Shadowrun, Numenera or Rifts, who work more with those kind of technologies. With this, Google really is your best friend. Start typing in whatever setting you would like to have, like sci-fi or fantasy, and just add tabletop RPG behind that, and you most probably find something that will fit your taste. Hopefully, I'll get around to one day making a video about choosing your system. Someday. Now, for general recommendations, if you like fantasy, I suggest starting with D&D, especially the latest edition, D&D 5e. It has been streamlined a lot, so it's easy for newer players to get in, and there's a lot less random generic math that you need to do, which is nice. Now, if you have some time, stick around and I'll show you how Pathfinder works. Admittedly, it's a bit more math heavy, especially when you come in, it looks like a giant wall that you need to get over. But I'll show you that it's more like a hill than a wall. Now, for the second most important thing that isn't necessarily needed for role-playing, you own your own cool set of dice. Now before you get your dice, there's one thing you need to keep in mind. Different systems work with different dice. So, before you start walking out and buying your own dice, take a look at what your system needs. Most generic RPGs work with the D20 system. That means you want your standard set of polyhedron dice. What are those, you ask? Oh, easy. So in a standard polyhedron dice set, we have one die with 20 sides, one die with 12 sides, two dice with 10 sides, which means if you roll one of them, you get a number of 1 to 10, and two of them, you can get a number of 1 to 100. One die with 8 sides, one normal die with 6 sides, the one that we all know, and the die with 4 sides. Games like maybe Shadowrun or the Star Wars RPG work with their own set of dice. Shadowrun is easy, it works with a lot of D6s. The Star Wars RPG though, they have completely different dice. Now, of course, if you don't have the money to buy a new set of dice that you need, there's always a solution. It's called mobile phones. Apps, man. They've got everything. No. What more is there to discuss? Oh, of course! The one most important thing before you can play. There's one thing you should never forget and always bring to the table. Always. The magic ingredient named fun. Role-playing games are played in our collective imagination, like I said before. Therefore, we can only have fun when everyone has fun. It's not the job of a GM to make sure everyone has fun. It's the job of everyone around the table to make sure that we all have fun. Never forget that it falls upon you to help create fun for everyone. Not just for you, for everyone. You're all in this together, man. Own up to it. And that, everyone, is all you need to play a role-playing game. So go out there and have fun. Up next, we start to discuss all the terms and abbreviations that are thrown around the table. Hopefully, I'll help you understand a bit better what they mean and when you can use them. If you thought this was useful, please use those handy dandy like buttons down below and fill the comment sections with your feedback about this episode and suggestions about future ones. Until then, just keep rolling.
Talking is so hard. It's so hard.